Hi guys, so today we're going to do a continuation of what we started off on Monday. So on Monday we went over the sine function, and today we're going to go over the cosine function. Now, similar to how we went over the sine function, the cosine function is going to have two cases. So for problems 1 through 4, we're going to go over case 1, and then for problems 5 through 8, this is going to be case number 2. So let's go over what's the difference between case 1 and case 2. So let's first look at the diagram for problem number 1. So here we look at the triangle and we see that 19 is the angle, and then we have this be our opposite, but in this case we don't need it. All we need is our adjacent, which in this case is our x. And now our 15 is going to be our hypotenuse, right? So because we're working with adjacent and hypotenuse, that's going to be ka, adjacent hypotenuse, AH. So this is going to be the same thing as cosine of 19 degrees is equal to, now which one goes first? Well, if you look at the acronym, you'll notice that A comes first, so that's the one that goes on top. So A, the adjacent, and the adjacent is x, and my hypotenuse is 15. And this is going to be the case for 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then for problem 5, 6, 7, and 8, you're going to see that x is going to be on the bottom, and the number is going to be on the top. And that's going to change the way we solve the equation. So to solve this equation, you have to get rid of the fraction, so we multiply both sides by 15 or 15 over 1, whichever one you like. In this case I'm writing 15 over 1 just to emphasize that this is going to be equal to 1 because 15 divided by 15 is 1. So this is going to be 15 times cosine 19 is equal to x, and this you have to put it in the calculator. So let's look at my calculator here. Make sure that your calculator is on degrees, and we're going to multiply 15 times cosine 19, and that's going to give me 14.18. So 14.18 is equal to x, but if you notice on the direction, it says to round to the nearest tenth. So if I want to go ahead and round to the nearest tenth, basically what I have to go ahead and do is look at my tenth place, which is the 1, and then look at the number afterwards. So the number afterwards is an 8. If it is a 5 or greater, you have to go ahead and go 1 up. If it is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, you stay where the number is at. In this case, because it's an 8, I have to write 14.2, and that's my answer. That's going to be C. Now let's go over how this is going to be different for case 2. So just going over this again, we went ahead and multiplied by 15 because that's the denominator. If you look over for case number 2, you're going to notice that the denominator is going to be x in this case, because we have the angle here, and then this is going to be my adjacent, and then my hypotenuse, or the one opposite to my 90 degree angle, is going to be x. So remember, we're still working with cosine, so there's going to be ka. So it's going to be cosine 45 is equal to adjacent, which is 10, over x. Just like I said before, case number 2 is going to have the x in the bottom, and case number 1 is going to have the x on the top. And this is going to basically add an extra step that we have to do. So you still have to get rid of the fraction, so we have to multiply both sides by x over 1, or just x by itself. In this case, I'm writing x over 1 to emphasize that this is going to be 1, and then it's going to be x times cosine of 45 is equal to 10. And now cosine of 45 is just a number, so it's similar to if you had 2x, right? So if you have 2x is equal to 10, what would you do is divide both sides by 2. So similar here, you have to divide both sides by the number. The number in this case is cosine of 45. So cosine 45 and cosine 45. And let's get rid of the example that we have here. So cosine 45, these two cancel out because that's equal to 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. So x is equal to 10 divided by cosine of 45. So you have to go ahead and put that in your calculator. So 10 divided by cosine of 45, well, that's just going to be 14.14. So 14.14. And then from here, remember we want our answer in terms of rounded to the nearest tenth. So we circle the 10th place, which is 1, and then we look at the number next to it. That's a 4. So do we stay at 1 or do we go up? If you said we stay at 1, you are correct. So the answer is going to be 14.1. And that's it. So again, why this is different is because you're multiplying by x on both sides. And in case number 1, you're multiplying by the number on both sides. Well, I hope this helped. After question number 8, so once you get to question number 9 and on, the cases are going to be mixed. So you're going to have to go ahead and identify which case you're working with. Anyways, that's it for today. Good luck, guys. Bye-bye.